Tell us where you're zooming in from. My name is Catherine and I'm with Michaels, and I think everybody knows who Joe is. He's the maniac waving right now.
Am I the only one waving? Everybody wave. Come on now.
All right, all right. We are so thrilled to have you with us today. It's been a little while since we've had a Siser class with Joe, so thank you all for joining us. We know this is probably your lunch break or your 1 hour to hide from the kids who are probably also at home with you. So thank you so much for spending it with us. We are so excited to talk about EasyPSV today. All right, someone from California. We have everybody muted just to help with background noise. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please don't hesitate to write them in the chat. Make sure you're writing to everyone and not just Joe or myself. We will make sure that we get your questions answered. If you have the answer to someone's question, please go ahead and answer. This is a community. We all want to help each other out. This will be recorded as well, so you can rewatch it. If you miss anything, if you come in late, if you have to leave and come back, you will be able to rewatch this at michaels.com/classes, so don't worry about that. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Joe.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I want to thank everybody at Michaels that are hanging out with us, letting me take over the Zoom class again. As Catherine mentioned, it has been a couple months since I last did one of these Zoom classes. So if you're new here, let me know in the group chat. If you've been to some of my other classes, let me know as well. Keep that flowing, right? Well, Rochester Hills. All right, you're right in my neighborhood. I see that. Let us know where you're watching from. Say hi again in the comment section or the chat section. Make sure it's to everybody. We want to make sure first and foremost that your questions get answered. So please do not hesitate to ask questions there. And Catherine can cut me off as we go through the lesson today. So as was mentioned, I am Joe with Siser North America. You may or may not have seen me in some videos. I, again, have so much love for Michaels because they allowed me to take over their Facebook page just yesterday. If you're watching this later, it doesn't make sense. But on their Facebook page, we did basically a Siser North America takeover where we showed this brand new bad boy right here, which is the new Siser Craft Heat Press, which is available at Michaels. And I showed some demonstrations with various Siser heat transfer vinyls, showing you how accurate and fast it is. So go check that video out later on if you're watching this, #replay. So thank you guys. I'm seeing people popping up all over the place. Again, appreciate you taking the time out of this busy Thursday morning or afternoon for you. That is what we're going to be talking about. So I just kind of want to talk about a product line that I feel like I don't really talk about enough that we offer at Siser North America that is available at the Michaels stores, and that is our EasyPSV line. Let me know in the chat if you've used our EasyPSV line. Real quick, for those that don't know what the EasyPSV line, so our PSV stands for pressure sensitive vinyl. So that is basically our decal vinyl. So I'm not going to be using a heat press today. So for those that have seen me do videos before or any lessons, I'm usually rocking a heat press. But in this one, it is going to be decal vinyl. So it is just pressure sensitive. And I'm going to be using our permanent line. So just to give you a little bit what's available at Michaels, we just came out with some new stuff, and Catherine can definitely let you know what's newly added at Michaels, but we've had sheets of our decal vinyl, which is our EasyPSV. On the back here, I'm just going to show you, we have a removable and a permanent line, and the permanent line has a gray grid line on the back, if you wanted to know, and then the removable line has a mint grid line on it. Another way to distinguish between the two is the permanent has a gloss finish, and this kind of ruined my lesson because Michael's just picked up a permanent line that now has a matte finish, so it's not going to make any sense anymore. This ruined my whole class. No, I'm just kidding. But traditionally, the permanent line had a gloss finish, as you can see that reflection, and then the removable line had a matte finish. But because people love our permanent line so much and they love that matte finish, we did just come out with an option that is available now in Michaels stores where it isn't permanent and has a matte finish. So yeah, a lot of stuff. Like I said, there's other brands out there that I'm sure you've all used that use the same way. But it is, again, it's a Siser product. I don't showcase it as much. So I figured it'd be a great opportunity because Michaels was generous to send me some really awesome wood plaques. So this one right here, what was this one again, Catherine?
That is a whitewashed wood plaque from Michaels.
Okay, so that was it, yeah. So Art Minds plaque, it is 25.6 by 14.2 inches. And as you can see, it's got 5 different plaques on it. So it's got a little bit of gaps here. So I'm telling you, what we're doing today is going to be literally, this is just between you and me, a first for me. I've never done an application with our EasyPSV on something like this. So I'm telling you, whatever happens here, it's live. First time, we're trying it out. What I'm going to be using on top of this is going to be 3 different of our permanent EasyPSV line. So I'm going to be using the black, our dandelion, and our orange soda colors. Now, another great thing about our product the EasyPSV with the application tape, which is what this is our application tape is gridded. And I hope you can see it. I know the lighting, we're down in my basement right now, but it is 1-inch grids. So what's awesome about this is it's a 1 application tape that works for all of our decal vinyl, so all the EasyPSV line. It is a medium tack, so it isn't very abrasive on surfaces. So if you did put it on drywall, or if you put it on something that you were a little apprehensive about the paint peeling back, it is like a medium tack. So you're not going to have that aggressive, I guess, like tear when you take off your carrier sheet. So I'm going to use these 3 colors. I have my designs all cut up already. For those that have never used the EasyPSV or any decal vinyl, remember, this isn't heat transfer vinyl. So someone like me that predominantly uses heat transfer vinyl, I always mirror my image. So when I sent it to my vinyl cutter the first few times, I forgot that you're not supposed to mirror decal vinyl. So very important to not mirror your design when you send it over your vinyl cutter. So whether you're using a Silhouette or whether you're using a Cricut, you can absolutely cut these products. We do have recommended cut settings on our website and our app that you can download for free. Just look up Siser HTV in your app store. And we have all our cut settings for all of our products, but our EasyPSV is in there as well. Very, very important as well to remember for those that don't use the decal vinyl and they use more heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl is a little bit more forgiving when it comes to cutting. That's because it's got a polyester carrier that when you cut, it's not going to cut too deep. It's not going to really cut through unless you really make it cut through. The one thing about the EasyPSV line is your backing here is paper. So you may or may not have experienced that before after you've cut and then you go to weed out all your excess material and you see the paper actually lifting up with it. That is a big indicator that your pressure is too deep. So you really want to make sure you do a test cut first. Always do a test cut. And when you weed away your test cut piece, make sure that the score, so the impression on your paper backing, isn't too deep. I know you're like, well, it weeded fine, everything was good, but if it's too deep, you'll notice that you'll have issues lifting up because it basically pulls that away. Another quick thing just to remember when you're storing your EasyPSV, so when you go to Michael's, you're gonna get sheets of it, like what we showed you there. Be sure that when you stack it on each other, you don't put anything heavy on top of that. Again, you're dealing with pressure sensitive backing, or pressure sensitive material. So the more you put pressure on top of those materials, the harder it's going to be to peel. So make sure when you get your sheets, you keep them separated, keep them away from anything, and don't put anything on top of them. I hope that helps. Or store them. A lot of people have the cardstock holders and they can just slide it right into there. But that's my suggestion, because otherwise it's impossible to get these to weed. So any questions so far? Everyone kind of understand what I'm saying?
So far, so good.
Okay, has anyone used the EasyPSV? Did you see anyone, Catherine?
We've had some that have had excellent results and some that have had disastrous results. So they're looking forward to seeing what they've done wrong.
Well, hopefully this isn't disastrous. But again, it's the first time for me. So what I'm going to do, maybe we can switch the angles here. And I'm going to weed away all my excess material. I kind of got started with some of the smaller cavities. Now, again, I'm using permanent. Now, a big thing, talk about a disastrous. When you're weeding how I'm doing it right now, make sure that none of that adhesive flops over on itself. So you don't want any of this adhesive to land on top of your design, because it is a permanent adhesive. So if you do that, it's going to be difficult to remove it from itself. So the way I just did it, I kind of peeled it away on itself and tried to keep it as clean as possible. All right, so I got some of the small little cavities. You probably recognize the character I'm using today. Another cool thing at Michael's just launched is this tool, because I know the last couple times I've done classes, I always show this. This is the Siser weeder tool. And this is my favorite weeding tool, which is now available at Michael's, as well as a tweezer. And I know people that use EasyPSV, they actually like using the tweezer because it doesn't have the sharp tip. All right. So I had to get into the fall season. What are you guys doing for the fall season coming up, right? Summer is about over here in Michigan for those I saw the Rochester Hills. Summer, it's already cold. It's getting right into the 60s. So I definitely am in the Halloween feel. Does anyone have any projects coming up for the fall?
We have a question for you, Joe.
Absolutely.
Did you make that design yourself?
I did make this design. And I know I'm kind of pushing the boundaries with it, but the way you can kind of get away with it, I don't condone stealing anything, but if you have anything that obviously is recognizable, you want to be careful, because for this, obviously, I'm using it for educational purposes. I'm going to use it for personal purposes. Do not try to take to the streets and start selling this. It's definitely something, even though it's something that I whipped up, you don't want to, it's recognizable. Just be careful on how you do that. All right, so one down.
Oh, listen to this, Joe.
Uh-oh.
Teresa says that her daughter is on a mission to have 31 Halloween shirts for October. So she's definitely working hard.
I love it. 31, so one every single day?
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, how are you going to get all those designs?
Well, let's find out.
I'm all for it. Like I said, I'm a huge Halloween fan. It's my favorite time of the year. I really hope, I know we're all living through some weird times right now. I hope that we can find some normalcy, especially for those with kids, because Halloween is just such a awesome experience, and I can't imagine not having a little bit. I know we got to be cautious and be careful on how we go about doing it, but I hope there's a way that we can still enjoy Halloween.
There's a question on reverse weeding, Joe. Does reverse weeding work for their PSV?
You can, but I wouldn't really suggest reverse weeding for the PSV. You can reverse weed, will get a little bit of a better, you'll get better success with the heat transfer vinyl. So if you have patterned heat transfer vinyls like the Siser Easy patterns, you can do a reverse weed on that and it'll be a little bit better. The reason why I don't really suggest it is, again, the Siser application mask that I'm going to be using is a medium tack. So if you try to mask an entire image and flip it upside down and start kind of peeling away, it's not going to stay as stable as it does with the heat transfer vinyl, which is our TTD high tack mask. So I would try to avoid doing reverse weeding. If you did, I would say to keep it on a smaller level, like something like this, where it wasn't a large image like that, and it was not as detailed.
Okay, I have another question for you.
Absolutely.
Do you recommend, or did you use a cut square in your design?
I am a big advocate of using a weed box. That helps me out a lot, especially when you work in really obscure environments like my basement where it's ill lit. So sometimes it's harder to actually find where your start is. I like the weed box. It keeps it all kind of confined to where you're going to have to weed away at. Yeah, I think weed boxes are a huge help, especially for these kind of designs. But great question there. Any more?
I just want to put out a friendly reminder that this is being recorded. So if you join late and you missed the beginning, you will be able to rewatch this so you won't miss anything important.
So I see, what is a weed box? Okay, I'll tell you real fast. So weed box in some programs, and I believe if you're working in Silhouette Studio or the Cricut design space, you can click on a weed box, I believe. I'm sorry, I don't use those programs all the time. But essentially all it is, and you can create it yourself. All you have to do is draw literally a box around your design. Just one vector shape, so just a square or rectangle that encompasses your transfer. So what I did there, so I have these two designs, and what I had was a rectangle that went around it. So when it cuts your design, it cuts that rectangle, so when you weed it, you know that you're weeding right in the area you need to instead of all over the place. So if you can, it kind of helps nest all your designs together if you're cutting multiple. And then you can also save some of your scraps instead of wasting and pulling up, more than you need to. So the weed box does help. Cool?
Great job, Joe. Great job.
All right, just making sure questions are good. All right, so now, next step. We have all 4 of our transfers all cut. Now what we have to do is go on and mask them. So again, the application tape, this is the Siser application tape with the grid lines on it. If you need, you can use them. It definitely helps. Sometimes you got to get the paper backing off of it.
I've seen a couple questions about, Michael, we carry patterned PSV, and yes, to answer your questions, we do now with some of the new product that we brought in stores. I definitely recommend heading to your local Michael's if you're able and checking out all of our great new tech product. We have a ton of fun Siser things in store for you.
Absolutely. So just now you can go about this process one of 2 ways. Now, for me, when I work with heat transfer vinyl, I usually put the decal, or I put the transfer tape down on the table and then roll my transfer across. In this case, because the paper backing is a little opaque and I can't see through it, I want to make sure that I'm actually putting my mask over it. So what I like to do is actually just lay the transfer mask or the application tape right on top of it, like that. And then when I go and do the squeegee process, which what you're going to do is then take a squeegee of sorts and apply some pressure and just create the bond between your transfer and the application tape. Then after that, That's how you want it to look. Lift right up. But you don't want to take it off yet until you're ready to apply. So we're going to keep it here. But this is why I'm saying what you just saw happen there with ease. I know some of you may have run into the issues, what I was saying earlier about the paper backing lifting up with it. That is where it's very, very important to do that first step I said, where it was make sure your test cut is not too deep. So you have to make sure. So when I look at this and I peel that back, I don't see the cut lines of these shapes. So that's where you want to be. It's barely cutting over just the material itself and not in the paper backing. Okay, we're going to cruise along with the masking. I'm going to get all these masked up. Any questions on that?
Well, Rockstar Christine is answering some great questions and lots of great feedback for that Siser squeegee. People love it.
It's Siser. No,
Okay.
JK, I missed my
Don't
first
mess.
lesson. I always mess this up every time. For those, I always say it, right? My number one lesson in all my classes is how to properly pronounce Siser. So Siser is S-I-S-E-R. I know a bunch of you probably like Siser. No, it's not Siser. It's Siser. So lesson number one. Yeah, you guys don't have the squeegee's not there just yet, right?
Just yet, no. And you just really made me feel like I totally said it wrong. So good job.
That's what I got to do every day. It keeps me in business. How to properly pronounce the name of the company. I always do a little like test to make sure it's lifting before I move on to the next thing. If you need to, again, if some parts don't lift up, then you just have to go back, apply a little bit more pressure. Save the biggest for last here. Again, I'm so nervous, guys. I've never done this before, so you guys are watching history in the making.
I'm kind of nervous for you, Joe.
Why would you even say that right now?
Just keeping you on your toes.
Every single time. That's a big mask right there. This image is about 18 inches.
Okay, here's a good question. Can you use Siser PSV on tumblers or mugs? And if so, will it survive the dishwasher?
That is a great question. So you can absolutely use Siser PSV, EasyPSV on your tumblers and mugs, but do not use them in the washer or microwave. So that goes, and that's not just for the Siser product either. That's really any decal vinyl that you've ever used are not dishwasher safe or microwavable. So that's just standard with any kind of decal vinyl. I know there's a bunch out there going, yeah, you can. I do it all the time. It might not work every time, so we have to confidently say, like, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. If it does work for you, right on. But I'm just going to say, to avoid any kind of technical issues or any problems down the line, try to avoid putting your decorated tumbler or mug into the dishwasher and or microwave. Great question, though. Did we get it? Oh, my goodness. Woo! I'm nervous now. All right. Here's where the heat comes. So we got everything applied. Now I need to make sure I'm applying on the right side of the plaque. So as you can see, this is going to be the top. So this is already ready. This is pretty awesome. This wood plaque comes with already the hanger ability on it. Some of them you actually have to put the whatever they're called onto them. So this is kind of convenient. But again, this is going to be interesting because my EasyPSV decals are one solid piece. So they're inevitably going to go over these gaps on this plaque. So this is where it's like a first time. We're going to see how it looks. I want crowd participation because we can do one of two things. We can keep it as is, or we can go back with either an X-Acto knife or this box cutter I have. And what you can do is you can cut the slat here and then actually bond the adhesive fully. So we'll leave it up to you to see how it turns out. I need to focus. You got to make sure that this gets done right because it's a one-time go. So I'm letting you guys know right now that if you lay your EasyPSV permanent down on a surface, you're really not going to get a chance to lift it back up. So make sure you really know what you're doing. All right. So just to show you a little bit, I hope you can kind of see it. Maybe not. But I had a little bit of the paper rip up in a small area. So that's kind of where you want to make sure that right here, I have a little bit of my paper is stuck on the back. Obviously, that's going to be blocking my adhesive. So you can just take a weeder and remove that little bit of piece of paper if you have that. Okay. Now, you can do this one of two ways. Well, there's multiple ways, really. But the way I have it to find your center, I always start in the center and roll out. You could start from one side, roll across. There's other methods like the hinge method where if I would have kept that paper on here, I could have set it up here and pulled one side at a time. There's a lot of ways to do this, and I know a lot of you are probably experienced with doing decal vinyl, but I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way for me, which is just kind of start in the center. Oh, that might have been a mess up.
I think we're all holding our breath, Joe.
Woo! Oh, I'm so nervous. It's perfect. It's perfect, guys. We did it. So now what I'm going to do, and what's awesome about this squeegee is it's got a felt side, so it's not very abrasive because this wood plaque is uneven. Even though it's smooth, it's kind of uneven. So I don't want to use the hard plastic side because that could cause it to kind of ripple. And now, so what I'm going to do is gently kind of brush up against it with the felt side. I'm not tuning my own horn, but I don't think I could have lined this up better. I'm only throwing it out there.
Now, I'm so proud of yourself.
I gotta be proud, right? Someone's gotta be proud of me.
There you go.
All right, so the deal is to make sure that you get some pressure down. Now, if it goes on a surface and you do get a little bit of lifting, again, this is a permanent adhesive. Make sure what you can do is you can let it sit on that surface for a little bit of time and let it actually bond to that substrate. That can, in some cases, help you help your transfer stay down. And again, this is a very uneven area. So you want to make sure that you get that as flat as possible.
Hey, Joe, we have a question. I know you're concentrating hard, but let's see if you can multitask. There's been a couple questions about sealing, and you don't have to seal this plaque before you put the vinyl on, but do you need to seal it after? Some people are saying don't seal vinyl, let it breathe. Some people are saying go ahead and seal it. What are your thoughts?
I've never sealed vinyl, but you can if that's what you want to do. We have definitely had customers say that that's what they do. I agree with the person that said kind of let it breathe, but I guess it's going to also be dependent on, this is obviously going to be an indoor plaque. If you were to put it outside, then you may want to consider doing something like that. And just to answer any questions that people might have on that topic, is our permanent lifespan for a permanent vinyl like this, or our glitter permanent vinyls, Easy PSV, I should say, is the lifespan outdoors is 3 to 5 years. So sealing it could potentially lengthen your lifespan on it. But if you're indoors, then you really don't need to do it. We did it. We did it here. All right. Now, you could save your application tape if you need. Just use it. I wouldn't use it more than like twice, because it does lose its tackiness. Okay, another kind of big one. Oops. Did that answer your question? I'm sorry. See if it's going outside.
That was a great answer, and people are agreeing with you. They seal it if it's outdoors.
Yeah. And again, this is a permanent. This is totally going to be an indoor design. The question that people have sometimes on the removable as well is the removable is a 2 to 3 year indoor vinyl. So just remember that whenever you're using our removable Easy PSV. Yes, did it. All right. So obviously the way I measured this out, I made sure that this line was big enough to fit directly on one of these. That's another important fact that I always tell people to kind of gauge. Make sure you look at the substrate you're working on and make sure that it gauges or the sizes kind of line up with your transfers. The best way to do on the peel back is try to just roll it up against itself. I hope you can kind of see that. But I'm just kind of like pulling the transfer back on top of one another, or on top of itself. Again, save this. What do you guys think? So far, so good. I got a little bit left to do.
It looks great so far.
Oh my goodness.
So proud of you.
I hope so.
Oh, here's a good question. What is the point of using removable versus permanent?
Well, really what it was in the beginning was simply the finish. So our removable was a matte finish and our permanent was a glossy finish. So some people are kind of particular on what the overall look is. So a removable was used mainly for the finish as well as the type of surface they were applying on. So if you were applying something on a drywall and you wanted to eventually take it off with minimal abrasions on your wall, then that's where we would recommend going with a removable. A permanent is our strongest adhesive. So if you put it on a surface like that, it will rip all your paint, it will rip the drywall. So you definitely want to be careful about that. I hope that answers the question. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm just singly laying down my dandelion transfers, placing it directly on top of my black Easy PSV, which you can do. You can obviously layer on one another. Just peel back on itself. Okay. All right, one more set of color. The last little bit is the orange soda. My boy Zero. All right. Who remembers this movie? Catherine, were you born at this time?
I don't know why you always have to like poke at my age because you're like, what, 2 years older than I am? I
I don't
remember
know.
the movie, but I have never actually seen it.
What?
I know. But
That's not right.
people have commented saying that it is a great movie. Oh, we got
Great movie. That's what I like to hear. It's my time. All right, I think we did it. Are you guys ready to see this in action? Hopefully, let's flip it to the other camera because I see some lagging.
wow.
Check that out, guys. What do you think? Nightmare Before Coffee. This is
Pretty
going up in
awesome.
my house big time. How epic is that?
That is great.
Skeleton and his boy Zero. Let us know what you think of this. Again, 3 colors of the Siser EasyPSV permanent right on this awesome wood sled. Now, here's the question, and I want the feedback, you guys. I told you before. Now, what we could do is we could take that box cutter and cut the lines, but it's going to have the gap, right? So everywhere there's going to be a gap. Should we do that, or should I leave it this way?
I think they're saying no, don't cut.
They're saying no, no cutting.
Yep, leave it as
I am
is.
with you.
Everyone's saying leave it.
Yeah. Don't cut it. Don't. All right, I see. Because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think this looks too fresh. I feel like if I cut it, like it would just look kind of weird. You know, I mean, it would cut right through this window. It would take away, but it could look cool. It's a preference thing. I mean, I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide for your next big project with the Siser EasyPSV and one of these awesome wood plaques. Here's some other great options. I had a lot to choose from. Michael's dad has the hookup on some awesome wood plaques. So I might do another project online, like something small like this. And what I want to do, and I know a big talk about, is actually using heat transfer vinyl on something like this. So maybe a future class, I'll actually apply some wood plaque with the Siser heat transfer vinyl using this brand new bad boy. But that was one option. These are 2 really nice plaques to be able to do stuff with. But again, these are kind of more where you have to set up your own like hanger onto it if you wanted to put it up on your wall. And then this was another option I had, which had the rope on it, which is really cool too. But I think I picked the winner for today's lesson. But yeah, that's what I had to show you today. I'm so glad it turned out. You guys literally saw history. I've never done anything like this, so this was a very, very for me. Does anybody have any last minute questions on this?
I'm seeing a couple questions on what you do for bubbles.
So bubbles, it depends on where the bubbles are. You can, what I'll usually do if they're in the middle and it's already applied and there's no chance that I can take it off and reapply it, I'll actually take a weeder. I'll take that sharp tip, just pierce the center of it and kind of take out all the air, and that'll flatten it. You'll see a tiny blemish, but it's, you know, you won't notice it until you get really close up to it, and your customer or, you know, whoever you're making it for is not going to notice it, or for yourself. So that's why I'm saying this tool right here, one of my favorite, one of the most versatile for any kind of mistakes, but that's what I do for bubbles.
So Candy said she tried HTV on wood and lived A Nightmare Before Christmas.
What? So, I mean, I appreciate the effort for sure. And I do it all the time. Actually, if you go back to the Michael's Valentine's video, I got a chance to go, or I did a Facebook Live on Valentine's Day, which felt like a million years ago, but it was this year, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I've lost track, 2020. So I actually press on one of these wood plaques with our glitter heat transfer vinyl using this heat press. And even though our heat transfer vinyl is only we only really manufacture it for textiles, for clothing, for fabrics, the wood substrates seem to work really well. Now, the follow-up question I get from people, and I'm sure somebody's thinking about it for themselves, is can I put heat transfer vinyl on my mugs and my cups and stuff like that? We've had customers do that before. Now, remember, you have to be able to heat apply on it. So the first thing you need to do is test with either your home iron or your easy press, or if you got this craft heat press already, you want to test under the high heat of that heat press if it can withstand, the substrate can withstand that temperature. Very important to do the test first. And then unfortunately, we can't really gauge a lifespan for how long it'll stay on the actual substrate. So if you put it on a mug or put it on a cup and you wash it over and over again, it could be there could be a chance that it'll peel off right away. Or I've had people that say they've had it for years. So it all depends. But I'm sorry if you had a bad experience applying heat transfer vinyl onto wood. I promise you, maybe my next class that I'll set up, I'll do that, and I'll make it apply heat transfer vinyl onto some wood, and maybe you can come back and we won't have a disastrous or a nightmare before heat transfer vinyl. You know, great question. Anything else?
You use the heat press on a wooden sign?
Yes. So what's great about this heat press too is you can adjust the pressure. So if you bring the pressure out, and again, I show it on that Valentine's Live that I did, you really take the pressure back like a flat piece of wood like this. When that closes, it actually closes evenly onto your piece of wood, or whatever substrate you're pressing on. But wood obviously can withstand high heat. It's you may notice it might brown a little bit, but like a piece like this, but a dyed piece like this isn't gonna have the same effect. So any other questions?
I will provide a link to all of the past classes. I think people are really excited. And scrolling through here. Oh, Candy, full disclosure, I have since switched to only using Siser.
Hey, thank you. I mean, come on now, right? Let's look at it again. I'm sitting here admiring that.
You're so proud of
I'm
yourself.
so proud of this.
Is it gonna go in your creepy coffee closet?
It probably should. I have so many options now. Ow.
It's impressive. See. I think those. Someone's asking about the design. I know you did that yourself. And
I did.
a couple of questions about cutting mats. Say just kind of look at what works best for your machine. Probably a standard grip with machine.
Yeah. What was that?
Sorry, can you hear me? My computer's being.
Yeah, you were breaking in and out on that.
I think we've got all the questions.
Okay. So yeah, I think we got all the questions. Sorry for the awkward long goodbye then. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Joe with Siser North America. Again, this was just a project with all Siser EasyPSV. Everything you see in this video is available at the Michaels stores. Catherine can let you know about all the other fun stuff. Yeah. Oh, her audio went out. I'm sorry. So I guess I'm closing out on this one. Thank you. I hope this class helped you out. I appreciate all of you. Feel free to join into our social medias as well. Just look us up at Siser North America. We got a Facebook group, which we love to share all ideas and stuff you get at Michael's. A lot of people are showing off their new craft heat press that they're getting. We're going to be back again. Michael's is allowing me to do a couple more classes in the near future, so hopefully I don't mess those up. Feel free to keep up on all the things that they're doing on their Michael's online classes. I know they have a lot of links for that. And yeah, and I will hopefully see some awesome projects in the near future. We have a lot of big stuff happening at Siser, so we can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Thank you all so much. Again, I'm Joe with Siser North America. We'll talk to you very, very soon. Have a wonderful day.